Morning, everyone. This is Jen Espinosa-Goswami joining you live from my page over at Be Weightless. If you are seeing this video and you have never liked my page, make sure you do so and just click on the button above this. And don't forget, if you want to catch my live videos weekly, which I do quite often, then make sure you click on get notifications underneath above this video. I wanted to join you today because I was on a call with a client the other day, and a really interesting situation came up, but it's not unique to that client. And I figured I would pop on here and share with you some of my experiences, both personally and my observation as a health coach, because I work with certain clients and some of those same challenges keep coming up for my clients. And the sneakiest part about it is they're not even aware it's a challenge. So this live is titled, Are Your Friends Making You Fat? You may be saying, well, of course not. Why would I tune into this? My friends are not making me fat. My friends love me. They care about me and they want the best health for me. Or do they? So we'll talk about 3 different ways that your friends are making you fat and what you can do to combat that in a gentle, loving, and respectful way for your own health goals, because not everyone has the same health goals as you, even your friends. And how you can push past that, especially as we're entering a holiday season where we're going to be surrounded by a lot of friends and a lot of family who may put pressure on us to do things that we've decided we're not going to be doing in our own best health. So how are your friends actually making you fat? It's not that someone is trying to force feed you a bunch of high calorie, high carb food or any of that sort of thing. How your friends are actually making you fat because they don't share the same goals as you, which means they may not understand your goals. For example, when I was growing up, I was in a family that ate a lot of processed and boxed food. And that was just the norm for our family. And then my sister started dating a vegetarian, and he didn't want to eat a lot of the ground beef that we would serve. He didn't want to eat the turkey and chicken that we would occasionally have in our house because he was vegetarian. And this was a big challenge for my family because we could not wrap our minds around the idea that there's someone who, 1, rejects our food, and 2, thinks that there's better food out there that we consider disgusting, just to be honest out there. So when it comes to your friends, they may not necessarily share the same health goals as you, which means they may not understand why you're doing what you're doing. Hi, Mary. Thanks for joining us live today. We're talking about, are your friends making you fat? Not you, Mary, because you're a friend and you don't make me fat, but I just wanted to bring that out there. So your friends don't share the same goals as you. And what this means is they do not understand why you're doing what you're doing. That's okay. They don't need to understand you. However, this can put undue pressure on you. So when you're in a social situation with your friends and you are the only person in the room who has decided to avoid gluten, who wants to, glad you caught us live today, Mary, who is not so much into vegetables like you are, who doesn't like fruit, who only serves things that are made with can of mushroom soup. Oh my goodness, tater tot casserole and all those things here in Minnesota. So you're in a party situation. Your friend invited you. You love your friend. You support your friend. You have a great time together, and you go to a party and there's nothing there that you can eat. That is one way that your friend is making you fat. And by the way, yes, I know you can take control of your own health, and you can bring your own food, and you can tell your friend ahead of time that you're going to bring your own food, but that's a huge inconvenience, right? Or at least it feels like an inconvenience in our heads. It's not, but your friend is probably not going to go out of their way to make sure that every single dietary need of their guests are met. That's just too much pressure for them, especially as the host of a party. So even if you specifically say, hey, hey, Jen, I'm not eating X, Y, and Z, they might do their best to accommodate you, but they're not required to accommodate you. So you have 2 choices. You go to that party and you eat exactly what's there, even if it doesn't meet your health goals, or you bring your own food and you feel kind of silly, but you still meet your health goals. I mean, when it comes to A or B, most of us lean towards one side depending on whether we feel that what our friends say about us matters, or what our friends think about us matters. I have a lot of clients who are very concerned with what people think about them. I don't necessarily. I care what you think about me because you're watching me. But, I don't necessarily care whether people agree with my personal philosophies on food or religion or what have you. I have things that I follow and do for a reason, and I can stand in my truth and stand in my own ethics in terms of why I'm doing that, and I don't feel like I need to justify myself. That doesn't mean that you don't feel like you need to justify yourself, especially with a friend. Maybe with someone who doesn't know you, it's different, but with your friends, you might feel like, well, yeah, I can't eat this because this, and you might get into a long story about that. This is reason number one that your friend is making you fat, because they don't necessarily share your same health goals. You understand that, right? And how that shows up in your life is, in a situation with your friends, you may not have ability to eat the way that you have chosen to eat in order to reach your health goals. What is another way your friend may be making you fat? Now, your friend may be slightly more aggressive and more pushy than those friends who are doing their best they can to meet everyone's needs. So they may be saying, hey, come on with me, Jen, we're going to go to happy hour, and oh, let's do all the things. Let's enjoy a full bottle of wine together. Let's do this and that and the other. Well, chances are good, if you're in a social setting, there's going to be food, there's going to be drink, adult Kool-Aid. There's going to be merriment and joy and fun and opportunities to share what's going on in your life. That's what happens when you're hanging out with your friends. Unless you happen to have a friend who wants to hang out and go running together. I mean, that can happen, but it's probably less likely than it is to hang out with a friend at a bar or at a happy hour. By the way, this can apply to folks who belong to a corporate setting and have work friends or work husbands and wives. I heard that term the other day. And they might have, every week we go to happy hour at wherever. Chances are good that your options are somewhat limited when it comes to being in a social setting at a happy hour or at a let's hang out with girlfriends kind of thing, and you sit there and listen to each other grieve about what's going on in your life, or maybe the good stuff in your life, who knows? It depends on your friends. So you have another choice right there. Do you indulge or do you not indulge? And by the way, it's your friends, so they probably don't care whether you're drinking or not, but if you're sitting there nursing a glass of water with lemon while they're nursing a bottle of Cabernet, then they'll probably notice it, and they might comment on it. And they might encourage you to share with them. So if they get a bottle of wine for the table, and you're the only one at the table other than them, and you say, well, I'm not drinking, then they might be a little disappointed, right? You have to take advantage of the happy hour specials and everything going on. So that's another way that your friend may be making you fat. Maybe they keep pouring you a bunch of drinks. And this is known as being a good host or hostess. So even if you're in a restaurant, you're not at home, and you have a friend who comes over, and you start pouring drinks for them, right? Oh, you don't have anything in your glass. Let me refresh your glass for you. That's being a good host or hostess. So they're not doing a bad thing necessarily, unless drinking is something that you've decided not to do over the holiday. And then it puts you in the situation of having to say no to your friend who is simply being a good host or a good hostess. Now, willpower only goes so far, and it's harder to say no to our friends and family than it is to say to someone we don't know very well. That's just fact. How else is your friend making you fat? We've learned about how they may offer food options that are not in your plan or in your goals. We talked about how you're in a social setting and your friend keeps topping your glass off, probably not with Kool-Aid, but with adult Kool-Aid, aka alcohol, and how you're in a situation where you have to be firm and say no. But what if you're not a person who's firm and says no? What if you're Minnesota nice and you feel uncomfortable saying no to your friend who's just being a good host or hostess? What's the third way our friends might be making us fat? Because what happens when you get together with girlfriends? Yes, there may be a dance party, but you're probably not exercising, right? I mean, unless you have a running buddy, a walking buddy. I can tell you, I meet with a lot of people as a health coach, as a speaker. I network a lot, minimum 3-4 times a week. I'm meeting people in person. And typically what we do is we go to a coffee shop or a restaurant or wherever. It's a place that offers food and drink. It is not a walking track. It is not a gym. It is not, and even if it's at a gym, it might be at the gym cafe where you can eat or drink. So what activities your friends like to do probably do not revolve around exercise, right? I mean, just being honest here. And comment below this video if you do have a friend where you regularly hang out and what you do is an active thing. whether it's walking, biking, what have you, because I'd really like to hear from you. How did you establish that, and how did that come about? I can tell you, I don't have any athletic friends other than Mary. I don't have any friends that I meet regularly to exercise. And I'm a person who doesn't necessarily like to exercise with other people anyway. Sometimes exercising with other people can challenge you, unless their level of fitness is lower than yours, and then it doesn't challenge you. So that's another little tidbit. Maybe you do meet your friend for exercise, but maybe your pace or your physical ability is higher than them. So that is not challenging you, and it may not serve you if you have a very specific exercise or fitness goal that you're working on, right? So, you know, even though your friend is doing their best and you're supporting each other on your health goals, they may be at a different level than you. You shouldn't train with someone in general, with someone who is very sedentary and doesn't have the level of fitness that you do. You should train with someone who has a higher level of fitness than you, so that, you know, when you're running out of breath and you just don't want to do it, you don't end up walking. You say, well, my friend is up there and I need to catch up with them, right? It's really hard to find that in your friends. And by the way, I have amazing friends who are naturally thin and fit and are, you know, busy moms and are chasing after children all day long. So that's its own workout, right? But when we get together, we don't do activities. We don't do physical fitness. And I lift and I do other things that require a different set of muscle groups than a lot of my mom friends. So, you know, they would, and I invite them to certain things, like there was a dance party in downtown and I invited folks, but I don't really have a dance partner friend. I don't really have someone who likes to try new exercise classes like I do. I'm going to try aerial fitness. So I don't really have that buddy. And it would probably be hard to find a buddy who would be a good fitness partner for me, because I try a lot of different things and I'm all over the place with my exercise. So that's another particular challenge. What can you do? You're not going to get rid of your friends. You love your friends. They've been with you forever and they're amazing people. You're not going to get rid of your friends, right? But how can you set yourself up so that even when you're forced in a situation, a social situation or otherwise, that makes you feel like you have to give in to temptations or like you have to say yes, then what you should do is balance that out with being part of a group that does support your goals where you are today, which is my extension and my invitation to you today. I have a group called Wait No More. It's a closed group, so only people who are a part of the group can see what's posted in the group. We do have daily themes around things that you care about. Like today is Weigh-In Wednesday, where you share a particular health challenge that you're working on today. We have Testimonial Thursday, which is about different people who've worked with me and how they've gone from their before to their after. We have Focused Friday, which is as you're heading into the weekend, what is one or two things you can focus on so that you don't lose that momentum that you built throughout the week. We have Motivation Monday and we have Training Tuesday. So day of the week in Wait No More, we have a particular theme where you can check in. Thanks for sharing, Mary. She's saying that one of her friends and her go out for walks, but most of the social time is over food and drinks. It's common, right? That's just the situation we have in front of us. When you get together with your friends, you want to be social and you want to hang out and you want to make merry, and that usually doesn't happen when you're sweating at a gym, right? Oh, I'm so glad, Mary, that you love the group. So, you know, you don't have to get rid of your friends, but maybe you can make some new friends that are health-minded, just like you, and will help support you on those days when you're like, oh, yeah, I wasn't supposed to have that third glass of Cabernet, but I decided to do it, and what have you. We all have those days. We're human. But it's really important to surround yourself with other people who have goals that they're focusing on, so that when you're feeling low, or even when you're not feeling low, you can share your wins as well. That's just as important as sharing your losses, is to connect with other people who care about the same things that you care about. And, you know, our friends are great, but maybe we became friends before we had an interest in changing what we eat or changing how we move. And that's okay. Our friends are not going to grow with us at the same level that we're growing. It's just, you know, friends are in your life for a reason or a season, and maybe both and maybe not. It just depends on your friendships and how you build friendships over time. But they do say that you personally are the just like the 5 people you hang out with the most. So if you think of your 5 people that you hang out with the most, what are the common threads that you have? And if those common threads have nothing to do with healthy living, then maybe it's time for you to surround yourself with a wider circle of friends who can help you live and explore your passions to the fullest extent that you want to. So to that end, I would love to invite you to join me in Wait No More. It's a completely free group. We don't do, 30-day challenges or anything like that. And it's completely product free, by the way. While I'm a health coach, I firmly believe in service-based health coaching and nothing to do with products or shakes or anything that you can take. Food is what you need. Food can be your medicine. You don't necessarily need to take something to achieve your best health. But this group is amazing. I really love you to join our group. I'm going to pop the link below the comments here. In the meanwhile, I would encourage you again to think about the top 5 friends you spend the most time with. And you could include your partner in this number, because I know I spend a lot of time with my partner. And it's interesting, really, because while he is interested in certain physical activities, he doesn't prioritize them. So I can't share, like, he encourages me to do my fitness, but it's not something we do together. And that can be its own challenge, right? When it's dark and cold and your partner is sleeping on the floor and you want to go exercise, you got to pump yourself up a little bit more than if your partner's like, let's go get it, let's go hit it. It's just, it's hard, right, to be in an environment where you don't have that same support that you need in order to feel motivated. And especially if you're someone who's motivated by your environment, and many of us are. I'm also motivated by my environment. You can set up structures, you can do everything right, but there will be moments when it just doesn't work out for you. So set your environment up, join my group, Wait No More, so you can really, achieve your health goals this season, whether it has to do with losing weight, maintaining, what have you, or even just staying consistent with exercise, with avoiding those temptations when it comes to Thanksgiving and Christmas and Halloween. I would love to have you join our group. This is Jen Espinosa-Goswami sharing with you if your friends are making you fat and how you can counterbalance that by joining my group, Wait No More. I love that you joined me this morning, Mary. Thank you so much. And don't forget to join my group, Wait No More. Mary is in there, and you'll see lots of great people just like Mary. So find some new friends and get the kind of support you need this holiday season. Thank you for joining me. We'll talk later.